From 97.1 The Freak, we got Ben Rogers of the Ben and Skin Show. And for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, it is Matt Engel. Gents, thanks so much for joining us. We got to talk about these Dallas Mavericks right off the bat. Big win today, thrilling win today. Dante Exum with the three beating the buzzer to send it into overtime. And then afterwards, you had Luka and Kyrie hugging it out. Incredible win. Let's start with you, Ben. How far do you think this team will go?
All right, so the Western Conference is packed. Top 10 teams all have a shot. I could see the Mavericks going all the way to the Western Conference Finals. I could see them losing to the Clippers in the first round. I mean, and that wouldn't even be a knock on the Mavericks. That's how good the West is. But I think they're as good as anybody. The way that Luka and Kai are gelling with one another, it's the whole Superman Batman thing. They're clicking, they're hitting on all cylinders. It's going to come down to shot making. I know that's generic, but can the third, fourth, fifth, sixth most important guys hit wide open jump shots? If they can, they'll win.
I will say this though, and this is what I love about what happened after the trade deadline acquisitions. They don't have to live and die by making shots anymore. This team can win in so many different ways now, and I do think Nico Harrison deserves some credit, and Jason Kidd does as well. What do you think, Mac?
I'm with Ben on this. I think 1 through 8 or 9 or 10 have a good shot to win their first round series. But I kind of tend to lean the way the old Mavericks coach Don Nelson used to say, which is usually the best team in the NBA wins the championship. And I think the Mavericks right now are one of the best teams in that second tier. The NBA is still a big man's game. And as good as the Mavericks are playing right now, like you said, we got to give Nico Harrison a lot of credit. Certainly Jason Kidd a ton of credit because we killed him about a month ago. The Mavericks don't have the biggest big guy in the league. They don't have Ant-Man in Minnesota. They don't have Jokic in Denver. And they don't have Giannis in Milwaukee. They've got a great team, a really good team. I think they're better than the Clippers. But I think as good as they are, I think the finals, the West Finals, is as far as they go, which to me would be a tremendous win either way.
No, I totally agree. That would be fantastic. But listen, these last 28 games, the turnaround that this team has made is absolutely remarkable. So I do want to dive a little bit deeper into that. I mean, what has impressed you most since that trade deadline acquisitions, Ben?
You know, for me, it's PJ. And look at how he's come along. Look at how now he's hitting his shots. But it gives him such length. And Gafford, obviously, good Lord. Having two legit bigs when Lively's healthy. You've got shot blocking rim runners, you're athletic, and you've got 3, 4, 5 guys who can block a shot at any moment. And that kind of gets into what you were saying, where now the Mavericks, if they're not having a hot night, they can still win because of that defense.
Yeah, that's what I love. I mean, before it was, listen, it got bad there for a while because it was make or miss Mavericks, right? If they're hitting the threes on a given night, they're going to beat a team. If they missed them, they might get blown out. I think they have a little bit more leeway in terms of being perfect because, listen, the game against the Rockets today, that defense let them get back in that game after being down 20, and it was really interesting to watch, and this team just continues to take strides forward.
I think the big thing to me is what Dante Exum gives that team flexibility-wise along the perimeter. And like Ben said, adding P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford has given them defensive players that they just didn't have. And Lively, as good as he's been, he's a rookie. And you got to give Jason Kidd a lot of credit because back there on March 5th, they get blown out at home against the Pacers again for the second time in like a week. And he's answering all kinds of questions. Basically, they're inferring that he's an idiot, he's lost the team, and this team can't guard me or you or anybody else. And in the last month and a day or so, they've ripped off, 14 to 16? Now they're almost 4th in the West.
By the way, that's Mac Engel. He can talk for a long time. Filibuster Mac at his best right there. All right,
call me Jerry.
We are on the clock, right? We got to get it done before the Zoom time's out. So, Andrew, what do you think about the first segment and where we headed next?
At this point, it all boils down to belief. We look at 10-pole moments throughout the Mavericks season. That Nuggets win comes back to mind as one, even though we don't know how this team will fare eventually yet, that's one that gives them the belief that they can go far.